So I want to talk about oxidative stress and viruses. So lately there's been a big focus on how the COVID-19 virus is killing people, and it has to do with something called oxidative stress. And that's basically where you have an imbalance of too much oxidation and not enough antioxidants. Now, your body actually makes oxidation or oxidants. It also makes antioxidants. That's called endogenous, which means that it's coming from within. And then you have exogenous oxidation, which is coming from the outside, like pollution, smoking, consuming refined carbs and sugar all increase oxidation. Now, the other thing is that when you get a viral infection, let's just talk about the COVID-19 virus. On a blood test, you'll see high amounts of neutrophils and low lymphocytes. Let me explain what that means. Neutrophils are part of the innate immune system, and they are a type of phagocyte that has three ways of killing things. It can release chemicals that kill the pathogen. It can eat the pathogen. It can also throw a net over the pathogen and kill it that way as well, because there are certain chemicals that are released. A couple chemicals that are released from the neutrophil are hydrogen peroxide and bleach, or the main chemical in bleach. And these two chemicals are the weapons that the neutrophil uses to kill microbes. And they create a lot of oxidation. So we have our own immune system that is creating this oxidation in response to COVID-19 or some other virus. And of course, the virus is creating other immune reactions, which is then contributing to more oxidation. Then we have the risk factors that are related to COVID-19. That would be diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure. So with obesity, you have a situation where you have a lot more oxidation and inflammation. Diabetes, you're getting a lot of oxidation with the high amounts of sugar. And the same thing with cardiovascular disease, definitely with the autoimmune conditions. All of those not only make you susceptible to getting the infection, but having a lot of complications. The complications of these pre-existing conditions, let's say, for example, diabetes, you'd have peripheral neuropathy of your feet, your vision is affected, you have heart problems, and especially the lungs. The other problem with having a pre-existing health problem is that when you do, your endogenous antioxidants, which means the amount of antioxidants that your body is making, is way, way less. So we have this imbalance that's created with the virus itself, and then the immune system reaction, which creates more of this. On top of that, having a pre-existing health problem is just enough to really throw this thing out of balance, to then really have an influence on your mortality. So to have a long, healthy life and to minimize the complications of not only this condition, but the side effects of the viral infection, you need to take these antioxidants and bring them up and bring this right down here. Some people that are infected never even notice one symptom at all. Yet other people really get hammered. Really, it's the oxidative stress from these conditions that's creating the damage. Now, the other thing that viruses will do, they will attack the mitochondria, which is the energy factory. So that's called apoptosis, where your cells are actually dying, but there's going to be some cells that survive this attack, and they're going to adapt. Because the respiratory center is damaged, which is the normal machinery to burning fuel, it will adapt to another way of using fuel, and that's called fermentation, which doesn't need oxygen. And it's an older system that our body doesn't normally use unless it needs to use it as a survival mechanism. So here we have several cells that have adapted, and they're using this backup machinery or generator to actually use fuel. And they metabolize glucose. So this is one way that a virus can trigger cancer. What's really wild about this mechanism is that as soon as a cell switches over to this new type of machine, it will lose its ability to die. In other words, cancer cells are immortal. And that's what's really, really strange about this, because the way that the cancer cell spreads and takes over is that it just continues to grow and grow and grow, where our normal cells, they have a certain limit where they will grow to and then they will die off. So yes, they become zombies and they just hog up all the fuel, but remember, they can only eat glucose, but the cancer cells will also create a tremendous amount of inflammation, free radical damage, and oxidation. So we have a lot of things going on. So what can we do to switch this back? Well, number one, you'd want to start fixing the pre-existing health problems, okay? The metabolic syndrome, the diabetes, the heart disease. You do that with changing the diet. But at the same time, we also want to start eating foods high in these things called antioxidants. This will do two things. Number one, it will put the fire out of this oxidative state. In other words, if you're taking antioxidants, you'll minimize the complications of these conditions and minimize the complications of viral infections. And I'm talking about lung inflammation. If you are in a hospital with COVID-19, you should be taking as many oxidants as you can get. Vitamin A, vitamin C, especially vitamin D, vitamin E. Here's another one, alpha lipoic acid. Then you have trace minerals that act as antioxidants. Copper, zinc, especially zinc. Selenium is a big one. Manganese, vitamin B1, 2, 6, and 12 are all considered antioxidants. Having good microbes also will help increase your antioxidants. So if you get an antibiotic, guess what? You wipe out the good bacteria and your antioxidants go down. Another really good antioxidant is called NAC. This antioxidant is used for Tylenol poisoning because Tylenol will destroy the liver. If you take this, it will reduce the amount of oxidation. Quercetin is a really good one, especially for people that have allergies, that have a lot of inflammation. Fasting will increase your network of antioxidants. Very, very important to know about that. Exercise will also increase your network of your endogenous antioxidants. And getting enough sleep will also increase this, so we can actually decrease this right here. Now, if you haven't seen this video right here, this is the next one you need to watch. Check it out.